Hello and welcome back to another episode of Talkoffamepod podcast with your host, Kylie. And on this episode, we are joined by singer-songwriter Francesca Tarantino, where we dive into her debut single, songwriting, and much more. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and taking time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So you recently came out with a debut single called My Runway. Like, why did you decide to kind of publish My Runway as like your debut single?
Well, My Runaway is one of the first full songs I've written, and I co-wrote it with my brother Dominic and my producer at Dreamwalker Music Evolution. His name is Mike. And the writing process was honestly so much fun, and it was so fun writing with my brother and Mike. And I wanted to release something first that other people could relate to. And the song is about being somewhere you know you shouldn't be, and you're trying to escape, but you're worried about what other people are going to think of you. And so I thought a bunch of people could relate to that. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can relate to that so much. Like how, like before you release the song, like how long were you like your typical songs were? Like I know like for some people they release like 1, 2 minute, 3 minute songs.
I think they range from about like 2 to 3 minutes, something around there. But sometimes they go into like 3 minutes and 30 seconds, but something like that.
Like how old were you like when you came out with this single?
Oh my gosh. Oh, still 14. Wait. Yeah, 14, duh. I'm wow, there we go. 14.
Are you still 14 now or are you 15?
I'm still 14. My birthday's in July.
Oh, really? Like I'm like not that much older. I'm about to turn 17 in September, so it's not that far ahead.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like how like I know you love rock and roll, like you grew up listening to rock and roll, and I love rock and roll as well. Like how did you kind of dive into rock and roll and stuff?
Well, my parents, like when I was younger, very, very young, they would be playing all this classic rock music around the house. And so it's basically what I grew up with. So then I followed in their footsteps and fell in love with it. I mean, I would be like singing around the house Aerosmith and Deep Purple. And actually, for a talent show in second grade, I sang Rock and Roll Night and Party Every Day by Kiss. So it's a big part of my life.
Yeah, like how did that like listen to rock and roll and like doing all these like listening to these songs kind of impacted you kind of as a kid or as a singer or songwriter? Because obviously a bunch of music has really impacted my life, but for you is this like you took it to a whole different level as a singer songwriter of rock and roll music.
Right. Well, I mean, rock and roll kind of took over like my whole life, to be honest. Like when I started listening to it when I was younger, I fell completely in love with it, and I just wanted to listen to it like every single second and jam out to it and sing to it and all that other stuff. And then I started writing it.
Like how old were you like when you first kind of started writing? I think you're pretty young, right?
Yeah. I think I was about 12, but then like before I would write these little excerpts and I was like, maybe I could turn that into a song later on. But actually writing songs when I was 12.
Like who's like your favorite like rock and roll artist? I know it's hard to choose. Like I know there's probably many. For me, it's always like I have to list like five people.
I know, but for me, definitely Kiss. I love Kiss so much. Like, I've been obsessed with them for a long time. I love their music, and oh my gosh, they put on a show. I've seen them twice in concert, and it's about to be a third time in November, and no
Mm.
one puts on a show like Kiss. I love them so much.
Oh my God, you seem like their biggest fan. Like how like where are you seeing them at in November?
Say it one more time.
Like where are
Sorry.
you seeing like where are you seeing Kiss in November?
I'm seeing them in Tampa.
Ooh.
Wait. Oh,
Like
that's where
are they
I
going
did.
on tours? Is this like one show?
Say it one more time. I'm
Is it like are they going on tour? Is it just like a one show?
They're on tour and their tour's about to end and then they're retiring. I was wrong, by the way. I saw them 2 times in Tampa and I'm going to see them somewhere in Nashville. I forget the place, but
Oh, Nashville?
in Tennessee, yeah.
Oh,
So
I love Nashville. I never been, but like I'm just like obsessed with it. Like these like country music and stuff. I'm like hands down like, the best place ever.
yeah, it will be my first time up there in Tennessee.
You have to tell me about it. It was like I every time I like someone tells me they went to Tennessee, I'm like I need to hear about it. Like every time in Tennessee, I'm like, please tell me about it.
I
Like
know.
Tennessee is just my favorite place of all time, even though I never been there.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I can't wait to go.
Like you sang like the national anthem for the Miami Marlins in 2022. Like, what was that experience like? Like doing the national anthem for a baseball team, like the like major leagues.
Oh, geez. Well, it was very scary. I mean, I did have a great time and it was really fun and it was such an honor. But I mean, we had to get to the stadium like 2, 3 hours before the game even started. And just sitting there for like an hour, just being all nervous was like so intimidating. But then they brought me out to the field and we did some sound checks and I sang it through. And then they told me like where the camera was going to be and where I had to stand. And then I started to breathe and calm down, but it was really fun and it was such an honor and I can't wait to do it again.
Like, have you ever like performed at like a baseball game or any kind of sporting events ever, or was that like your first time?
In the past, I performed at like school events for national anthem and other things like that, but this is my first major league.
Ooh, that's amazing. Like I couldn't imagine how you feel because like I work for like a minor league baseball team, so it's like whenever the camera's like on me or behind me or something, I'm like I don't like it. Like this is like even though I've been in front of a camera a bunch of times, it is like it still nerve wracks me every single time as like the first time.
I know, me too. It's crazy.
Like how do you like deal with like kind of being in front of the camera and stuff? Like how do you kind of like manage like your emotions through that time? I kind of wanted to ask you because I know it's like hard for me as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm one of those people who doesn't get nervous like the week before or the day before, but right when I'm about to perform, that's when I get nervous.
Yeah,
So
me
like right
too.
when I'm about to go on stage or like backstage, there's not much I can do because like a minute before I go on, but I'll just do singing warm-ups or guitar warm-ups or like go through the songs in my head or just jam out and the music will calm me down.
Like how like what type of music do you like to perform? Is there any kind of specific like songs or artists you like to perform besides your own music?
Well, I mean, I do basically all types of rock, punk rock, pop rock, classic rock, anything rock, and I do it pretty much.
Like what is like your favorite song to perform out of rock? I know it's probably something involved with Kiss at Power.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to choose because I do a wide variety, but I kind of have this tradition with at the end of all my gigs, I end with a Kiss song, and most of the time it's Rock and Roll Night and Party Every Day by Kiss, the one I performed in second grade.
Mhm.
And it's always so much fun doing that song because the reactions from the people, like they start jamming out and singing along, and we're all so pumped, and it's so much fun doing that song. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's such an amazing song. It's like whenever people are down, it's just like a big kind of like energetic song to get people moving and just start dancing.
Exactly.
It's like the best way to end the night, I think.
No, it's perfect.
Like, was that like for your second grade like talent show or whatever? Like, was that like your first time ever performing in front of people?
Yes, it was, and it was a blast. I remember being up there. I had a little hula hooping solo. Oh, I killed it.
As you should, like as you should. Like it's like do you have like a hard time performing like in front of your parents or something, like in front of people you know?
I mean, when I was younger, I would only sing in my room and I would not even go around my family. And if my family came into my room while I was singing, I would immediately stop and be like, "Oh, hi." But now I've kind of gotten used to performing in front of people and my family. Sometimes I'll get a little nervous when my friends are around because, I don't want to mess up. But most of the time I don't really care that much.
Yeah, I'm like the same exact way because like when people like watch me doing things I do in general, you just make I just immediately stop if I'm not recording. And if I'm dancing or something, when someone comes in a room, I don't hear with my earphones, and I'm like, "Hi, like how's it
Mhm.
going? Like what are you doing?" Then I
Exactly.
like once you leave the room, I close the door and lock it and just do whatever I was doing.
I know, same.
Like, how do you like find like inspiration for like your writing and music?
Well, I like to write songs about real life experiences, and I know I'm only 14, so I haven't lived that much, but basically anything people can relate to, because I think that's always the best type of music.
Yeah, for sure. Like I feel like the more experiences that happen in your life and the more you write about them, I feel like it's like people can relate to them like much more. And like I feel like you probably get more listens if you like kind of do more about your life.
Exactly, yeah.
And like, what would you say is like kind of like your genre of music? Like, how would you like you describe it?
My genre of music, I mean, I do all pretty much rock. I mean, all my songs are just rock songs, like I said before, punk songs, really, punk rock, pop rock. My runaway right now is, I guess, in the pop rock category, anything like that. And the ones I'm writing now that are in the works are pretty much the same way, pop rock. There we go.
Like, would you ever consider like writing something other than rock, or you just want to go hands down full rock and roll?
I mean, nah, I think rock is where I'm meant to be. I think that's my path, and I don't think I can go away from it.
Yeah, just like stick to like one specific genre, like rather than just do millions of them, right?
Yeah, I should be.
And like, what is kind of like the hardest like kind of part about being a young singer-songwriter? I mean, I know you're 14 and you're just starting out. For so far on your journey, like over the last couple of years when it's go theater and stuff. What is the hardest part for you?
I mean, the hardest part is probably worrying about what other people are going to think of you. I mean, being 14, I mean, I'm self-conscious about what other people are going to think of me because I'm
Mhm.
putting my music out into the world, and some people might be like, that's a little weird. Or, oh, that's so embarrassing. And sometimes, it gets to me, but other times I just push it all away because I'm having fun. It's what I like to do, so it doesn't matter.
Like I know, like I feel that exact same way. It's like sometimes, like when like entertainment people, journalists, singer-songwriters, or actors, or whatever you are, like you kind of feel self-conscious about how people are gonna think of you for doing this, like or performing on stage, or this music is weird. But then, like it's just a matter of the fact that you're having fun each time you're doing it. As long as you love it, like that's the thing that matters. Even though you might get hate for it, that just means like, oh, it's their loss. Like you're like, oh, they're jealous. But then like it doesn't like take away from like doing what you love, even though people might hate you for it. Like that's like the hardest part about being kind of a young person in entertainment is that like you'll get hate no matter what you do, no matter what you write, what you do, and everything.
Exactly.
And then like what is like your favorite like place to perform, like in your area?
Well, there's a restaurant called Bloodhound Brewery, and it's a little indoor outdoor vibe, and it's super family friendly. And I love performing there so much. The people there are always so kind. They always get up and dance with me, and the waitresses and waiters and bartenders are always so sweet. And I always just love performing there.
Like how many times have you performed there? Like have you performed there a few times or you performed there a lot?
A few times, I think five. I believe, and then doing two I'm doing one this week and then again next week.
Ooh, okay. Do you have like any upcoming gigs besides that, or is this all that's all you have so far?
I do have some other ones set for April. I cannot remember them right now, but those two in Bloodhound, and then I'm blanking right now. I can't think, but I do have those two Bloodhound gigs.
Yeah, that really does it all the time. Like when I'm like under pressure, and I'm like, oh, I can't. Like I have to go on my phone double check what's going on this week. I'm like, sometimes I'll forget that I'm like, oh, I have to check my calendar. I'm like, oh, this happens tomorrow. Like
Mhm.
I didn't even know I even scheduled that. Like you
I
just
know.
sometimes like you forget until the day before to wake up.
I know.
Like how like to go back to a little earlier, like how do you kind of prepare to perform in front of a crowd? Like how do you like kind of like control your emotions and kind of prepare it to like kind of do like a set?
Well, I first off prepare my set and I make sure I have an idea of what I'm gonna say when, um, what songs I'm doing when, and other things like that, how I'm gonna perform the song. And then I always warm up before I perform. Can't really think of anything else I do, to be honest, to prepare. I mean, I just practice, practice, and practice that stuff.
Like do you usually do like the same songs to like different gigs, or do you stick to like different songs each gig, like, or you just kind of stick to like the same ones each time?
I mean, there are a few that I definitely keep because I love doing them and other people love when I do them, but there are some that I interchange depending on where I'm performing.
Like how do you like what is like your crowd's favorite song that you perform? Is there any specific like sound, like crowd kind of goes wild, or you go wild during performance. I use it just always one song that someone performs that goes kind of crazy.
Well, I mean that's hard. It's kind of between two. Number one, rock and roll night and party every day because I don't
Hmm.
think a lot of people expect me to do rock and roll night and party every day. But
Hmm.
also Hotel California by the Eagles because when I do that song, I use a looper and I do the solo on it, and I think everyone is like, "Wow, oh my God, she's soloing too." And also I perform at an assisted living facility, and they always love when I do Sweet Caroline.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they go crazy. They're always like, "Oh my God, yeah!" And they always sing along. And yeah, those are probably three of the main ones.
Yeah, like every time Sweet Caroline comes on for me, I just go crazy. I don't know about like I don't know what's up with that song, but it's just like everyone just kind of goes crazy, no matter how young or old you are. Like it does, like it gets everyone going. Like it just makes everyone stand and dance.
I know exactly. I love songs like that. They just make me want to dance.
I know, like no matter what song it is, you just want to dance to it. Like especially like oldie songs I like much better than like the songs that come out now. And I got to say there are some good songs that are out now in the latest years, but I was like, yeah, I'd rather kind of oldies music, like 50s, 60s, 70s around those times and kind of songs I'd rather now, I feel. Because I listen to Elvis Presley and all these people, and people probably like, yeah, Elvis Presley behind you. And I'm like, and people are like, random, like, why do you like oldies music at 16? But I'm like all Elvis Presley, like I like in oldies music. It's just like oldies music is just like different from what like we hear now, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I actually do Hound Dog by Elvis when I perform out, and people are always like, "Wow, oh my God, an Elvis song." So that's, I guess, is another.
Yeah, Hound Dog's really like kind of like an easy one to play. It's a popular one too. It's like one of Elvis's kind of popular
Mhm.
songs that everyone basically knows.
Yeah, it's very popular.
Yeah, and like what is some advice for like upcoming singer-songwriters? And that's a final question.
Well, three things. Number one, have fun. That is the most important thing because if you're not having fun, it's not something you should be doing. Number two, don't worry about what other people are going to think of you because in the end, it doesn't matter and they probably couldn't do what you're doing in a million years. And number three, be yourself because if you're not being yourself, then it's definitely not something you should be doing either.
Yeah, for sure. That's like the hardest like part about being a teenager is that like people would judge you based off like who you are.
I
And some
know.
people think that you being not being yourself is much better than being yourself, but it's like the opposite of like what you're thinking or what they're thinking. Because like I rather someone like in my opinion be themselves rather than act the total opposite of who they are.
Mhm. Exactly.
Is that like something like kind of like you struggle with as like a teenager, 14-year-old? Like, is that something you struggle with?
I mean, before I did, but honestly, I just grew not to care. I mean, I'm me and it shouldn't matter to other people because I'm me and I'm having fun and that's all that matters to me.
Mm-hmm, for sure. That's all that matters is like as long as you're happy, as long as you're being yourself, and as long as you're living your dream and doing all these things, you shouldn't care about what other people think. Of course, it can be very difficult. Of course, like I dealt with it a million times. I used to care about what other people think. I'm not gonna like be ashamed of saying that, but I or thinking that, but that's why I suffer with every person basically suffers with that, like caring about what other people think. But then like if you care about what other people think, it's just gonna stop you in doing what you love and live life every single day.
Exactly.
Yeah, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking your time and coming on. I love chatting with you and keep doing all the amazing things you're doing and I can't wait. Maybe next time I head down to Florida, I definitely probably can catch a gig down there and see you, like in
Yes,
the
definitely.
Orlando area.
Yes, please. Oh my God, that'd be so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Of course, thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.